How the hell we doing? We're back in the basement for another session. This fly that we're going to tie here, I call the Troutfitter. Let me just give you a little background. And you know, I may get emotional in this, and that's okay. I coached Little League 34 years, and I taught kids that if they needed to cry, cry. Men hold too much emotion. But this fly, the Troutfitter, is a fly shop in Wise River, Montana. It was ran by two good friends of my cameraman's actually the person that introduced me to Frank Stanchfield. Him and his wife Edith and their son Lance run this business. We've recently lost Frank. He was 79, and you know, like I said, the guy was just a wonderful guy. I've met few people in my life that could make me laugh like that, and that was just. He was just a real easy person to be around. A good example would be politically, we were 180 degrees apart. In this given era that we're in, where you kind of draw lines in the sand, I've just was remarkable how you could actually talk with Frank, laugh. It was also just an uplifting thing. But I thought, just as a tribute, you know, both to him and to his family, that. Should dedicate it something to someone who put so much into fishing, so knowledgeable on the Big Hole River, and just so knowledgeable about many aspects of fishing and boating. He was a true pioneer, should never be forgotten, and I would encourage you to stop into their shop. It's a Troutfitter. It's a great shop. It's a wonderful river, and with that, I'm pleased that I got through this without crying, which is probably good because it broke my heart. But this goes out to Edith and Lance and to all the people who were touched by Frank. All right, well, thank you. With that, let's get going. With that, let's look at the materials, what we got today. For the hook, and you could tie this in different sizes. Obviously, you could go really any size that you wanted except extremely small. I'd say down to 12s would be just fine, maybe 4s. So this is a 2x long nymph hook. For the dubbing today, this is called crap dubbing. Again, it's from a place in Stevensville, Montana called flydungeon.com. So, you know, I would encourage you to give that a check out. They have excellent materials. The ribbing is just a silver coated copper wire. For the hackle today, we've got pheasant rump. Over the top of the fly, this is just Easter basket stuff that I buy at the end of Easter. The bead, and you could use different colored beads on this as well, is just a appropriate size bead for an 8, silver in this case. A chartreuse dubbing. These are just centipede legs for the middle of the fly for the legs, and then for the tail, these are just rubber chartreuse. Okay, and the tail is going to be just green marabou, and you could tie this in different colors as well. You know, don't be locked into one color. And then the thread today is going to be chartreuse. So with that, let's get this thing rolling. Bead on there. All right. Okay, we're going to go with a nice thread base, just like on everything, so we don't get a lot of slippage. Good. Okay, for that marabou, that's too much, so we want to grab it about right there. Get rid of a lot of this. We don't even need it. You don't want a real bulky amount of marabou. That's about right there. So you can just set it up there and kind of get the length. So that's pretty close. So the way that I set it up there, that's the length that we want. So when I grab it with my off hand, that's the length we want. So we're going to cut right at the fingers and the thumb. Perfect, just like that. Slide that in there, kind of incorporate that into the body of the fly. That. Good. Okay. Now we're going to take two of these chartreuse rubber legs. And we're going to set them, I want those slightly longer than the marabou. And again, we can adjust these if they're too long. Fine, we have both ends, so we can change them either way. Too long, too short. We want them just a little bit longer. Okay, I'm going to set that in against the side of the fly. Keep in mind that that's going to roll away from you when you have your bobbin on there, so tie it a little bit to kind of accommodate that roll. Okay. A little bit more. So see, I'm just pulling that out of there so that I get the right length. Or you can just trim it if you want it. That's fine too. Okay, good. And we can adjust these legs too if we want them higher, lower. That's easy too. Okay, now we're going to take a piece of this silver wire. And so we're going to set that in there. Just like that. Okay. Now a piece of this Eastern material. I don't know what we call them. Set that right on top of the hook shank, just like that. Good. Okay. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to add these legs. Okay. Now keep in mind with these legs that I'm just going to set them in there. I can adjust those as well. I kind of want those right about in the middle of the length of that, but again, I can adjust those any way that I want, as you'll see. Okay, set that on the far side. Now toward you. Okay, just like that. Notice how they set on the same plane with the fly, and again, you can move those, you can adjust those. So if I got those two even, if I just even out the two front ones with the back leg, that should be good. Just like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to hold those back out of the way, bring the thread back. All right. So now we're going to get some of this dub. Keep in mind, we don't want to build up too much too fast. It's not super easy to dub with, but it's not too bad. Notice how I'm going to hold these away with my right hand. And then just wrap that forward. Just like that. Right between them. Lift them up, go right in front of them. Bring that up right to the bead. Just like that. Okay, so we can adjust those where we want them again. Okay, now we're going to bring this flash over the top, right on top of the hook shank. Tie that off right behind the bead. Just like that. Right. Now we're just going to rib that wire up there. And again, just hold those out of your road. Notice how I'm just reaching through with my finger to grab that. Okay, now we're going to take one of these. Let's see what's right. Let's go with this one. Okay, so I'm going to strip that bottom part of the feather down. So I'm just going to get rid of that down. So I'm just starting into the body of the color. Okay. Pin that up. Shiny side up. Now we're going to go in there with those hackle pliers. Stand that up. You can get at it a little bit easier. Grab it right by the vein. So you can see I've got it right by the vein. That gives it a little more strength if you get hold of that vein. Spread those out just a little bit. And we can fluff them out once we get it on there. Okay. Good. Careful here and get rid of that, just that little part. Yeah. That's good. Now we're going to finish that up with just a little bit of the chartreuse dubbing. Don't need a whole bunch. Okay, I'm going to hold that back out of our road. Right between the bead and the start of that pheasant rump. Just like that. Nice hot spot. Just going to finish that off. Just like that. Add some in. And there you go, the Troutfitter. So, I've never tried this fly, so do I think it'll be good? Hell, I think all my flies are good. As just like you should think yours are. It's just like when you're going up to bat and you're a baseball player, you're in love with your bat, you know you're gonna do well with that bat. Same thing here. This is gonna catch fish. So again, I'd ask you to look at some other videos and compare them to ours. You know, I see some things in other videos I like, but I see some things in ours that I think from a sense of learning to tie, that we do a really good job with that. So keep that in mind. Again, we'd ask you to subscribe. We've got some new ones coming out. So this is Wayne Gravatt signing out. So get out there and give them hell. Again, fishheadvideos.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.